you who are not aware, to my new subscribers, which shout out, thank you. Um, some of you don't realize that my channel actually started as a vlog and it evolved into a tarot reading channel. And I kind of wanted to like go back a little bit because yesterday I was just like listening to music and writing, and I felt like I really wanted to just like open up about like my like how I see spirituality. I've realized that like there's a lot of confusion in my spirituality in regards to how other people perceive it because like um a lot of people think I'm dogmatic, or like I have certain denomination or whatever. So I kind of wanted to tap into this a little bit. I might even go outside of my notes, but I'm going to read to you what I have so far and just kind of like as I'm speaking, like I'm already like, and my brain is adding more to this, so we'll see how long this takes. Time is a lie. Moments stand still as we move through them. Each moment that we impose ourselves on must surrender to our will, not the other way around. This misconception of the entire human race has led to the belief that we are victims of circumstance, and many disregard the power of their own will. Life is a game of wills. Every will manifests its own reality by creating circumstances, which has a butterfly effect and affects the realities of those around them. Quantum entanglement explains the effects of energetic connection between all carbon-based life forms in a much more articulate way than I can. So I will leave that research up to you. Upon understanding the power of energy, you will learn how to empower yourself with the energy around you. Let's first consider what energy is. Energy is frequency. Energy is omnipresent, omnipotent, and it is the conscious force that controls all things. It is eternal. It can neither be created nor destroyed. It simply is, which is ironically the very definition of God. Scientists have been working with God and staring it in the face for centuries. Meanwhile, denying its existence, which is a rather hilarious proof of their ignorance. Cognitive dissonance is a bitch. Due to electron repulsion, everything in the material universe is made up of 99.999999999% energy and 0.000000001% matter, which means that nearly 100% of what you are is eternal and invisible to the naked eye. You are literally God playing hide and seek with itself, with energy being omnipresent and literally filling every crevice of space. There are no half-empty cups. This fact also forces us to recognize that we are collectively just one singular thing. There is no separation between us and anything or anyone else. This brings me back to the point of quantum entanglement. We can have an effect on someone or something, no matter the physical distance between us, because on a quantum level, there is no distance between us. If you split an atom and take one half of the atom to the other side of the universe, then proceed to do experiments on it, the other half of the atom will respond because separation is an illusion. Space and time are a trick of our minds. Nothing is separate. We are all just expressions of the same energetic being, the good and the bad, the yin and the yang. You are me. Now that we've covered the basics, allow me to explain how to close the illusory distance between you and what you desire in life. It all boils down to frequency. Energy attracts like energy, so you have to meet it on its frequency. If you want to attract things that bring value into your life, be valuable. If you want to attract things that bring you joy, be joy. This is why successful people surround themselves with successful people. As the Big Bang ejaculated cosmic background microwave radiation into our universe, something magic happened. And debris began seeking other debris from the explosion, which matched its frequency, and the celestial bodies began to take shape. The Big Bang has continuously exploded for the last 13.8 billion years, and the universe continues to expand. So this magic continues to occur even now. We are the product of chaos and order, creation and destruction, and that nature of the polarities that created us continues to thrive in the psyche of everyone and everything in our universe. As above, so below. And now, for me to go off further, I would like to also mention, because as soon as I started talking about it, I realized, I was like, fuck, I forgot one of my best points here. I was watching this thing by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was explaining the different dimensions, right? There's 11 known dimensions in our reality. And say if there's like an ant, right? And it's chilling on the table, and it only perceives the second dimension, right? And say we take a bunch of paper and we just cover the table with paper, and the ant's in the middle. It would look at all the paper and be like, whoa, this place is filled. There's just shit everywhere, you know? Like, it would be a lot, right? But say we take all these and we put them on a shelf over yonder, then from the ant's perspective, everything just disappeared from the second dimension into the third, right? And from being just human to looking at how we interact with insects and animals and stuff, we can actually affect the lives and the direction of the lives of the ants, right? We can have ant farms, we can wage war on them, right? We wage war on them. We can do all these things, and they would never be consciously aware that we even exist, right? To them, it's just natural destruction, you know, or natural whatever. They don't perceive into the third dimension, so they'll never be aware of us, right? And that's only from the second to third dimension, right? If there's 11 known dimensions, right, higher dimensional beings have to exist, for one. And I believe that the Earth and the planets are actually conscious beings, right? And we don't comprehend that because we're so small. We're standing too close to the elephant. And understanding the conscious nature of the universe in general, right? Like, the Big Bang was the Big Bang, right? Like, that was the first orgasm that ever happened in our universe, the Big Bang. Right? The gods were like, the god, the goddess, matter, antimatter, you know, and it's like, that's just the nature of things. And I think that's why it's so beautiful that we still create life in that way, right? It's still the collision of two celestial bodies that ejaculate something into life, right? And so I do believe in higher dimensional beings. And I do believe in a source god, goddess combo, you know. And I do believe in the prophets because they've lived, you know. And I do follow the philosophies that resonate deeply with me. My spirituality is really based on quantum physics, to be honest. Quantum entanglement, quantum physics, you know. The idea of being able to split an atom and take half of it to the other side of the universe, and it can still feel so deeply connected to the other half of itself, is just beautiful to me, that it can still respond to the experiments being done to the other half. And to me, that's a lot of the evidence that I needed for, like, twin flames, you know. It's kind of like an atom that got split and then evolved, grew into two different things. Like, for example, right, propagations. Let's talk about that, right? So I felt like this was a good example of what twin flames would even be to me, because we do talk about it a lot, and I felt like it's relevant, right? So you take a plant, right? Here, let me show you one of the plants. This isn't necessarily one that I took a propagation from, but this one was also propagated. So basically, you take a plant, you clip it, right? and you stick it in water, right at the node. You clip it at the node and you stick it in water. And then it starts sprouting these little roots, right? And here, let me see if I could put it up closer so you can see it's a root system in there. And what's awesome about it is this is still the same plant that it came from, right? It's still genetically that same plant, but now it's cloned, right? Now it's two plants. Because it's separated and this part has now taken root and now it's growing in a different environment. It's getting different nutrients, it's having a different life, right? But it's still the same plant. Okay? So I feel like for me, like, and that's why I think twin flames are rare. I don't think everyone has a twin flame because I don't think every atom has been split like that. But I do believe in the phenomena. And I do believe that, like, the connection is undeniable, right? Especially if you've experienced it, right? And, or even if you've experienced a false twin flame, like, it makes the experience undeniable. Because in order to experience the false one, it lets us know that the real one must exist as well, right? And a false twin flame is something that is almost it, right? It like vibrates just slightly lower or higher than you, and it's just slightly off of your frequency. But it's kind of like when you're tuning into a radio channel and you can hear the next channel, but it's all fuzzy still, like because it's not clicked into the right channel. That's what I think false twin flames are. It's like you're almost there, almost the same vibration, but the twin flames will always vibrate in the same vibration, right? They'll always be in that same frequency because it's still technically the same being, right? It's the same dude that got separated into now, like this is now three plants actually because these both came from the same guy. So, I mean, and just from like propagations, like in my own experience with biological sciences, I would say that twin flames have to be highly probable, and I believe in it. So, yeah. In regards to spirituality, though, I feel that we should definitely have critical thinking. And we should really introduce as much fact-based evidence as we can into our spiritual development, right? Because it can be explained. Whether or not scientists choose to call it what it be like, it can be explained and it can be experimented on, right? We can do all the experiments and kind of see the process of nature because as above so below, this plant can do exactly what I can do, right? Theoretically on an atomic level. So yeah. That's my rant for today, but I was just feeling it and I just felt like I kind of wanted to dive deep into like my spiritual beliefs and where they come from. I didn't just like wake up one day and start reading books on witchcraft and was like da da da. No, I actually went to school to become a scientist and then I learned that scientists are actually witches that didn't get burned at the stake. And that's when I realized I'd been a witch the whole time. I just was a witch in a lab coat, and honestly, like, I think, and even calling myself a witch is almost too much because I feel like such a scientist, and I feel like spirituality is part of the pursuit as well as philosophy. It's like they feed the mind, body, and the spirit, science, philosophy, and spirituality, right? They're all part of the same triad, right? The Holy Trinity, if you will. And we can follow the evidence, we can find it. It's just being receptive to the evidence and not allowing cognitive dissonance to run our lives because of the fear of being wrong ever, right? I found out I was hella wrong about a lot of things, and I'm fucking glad. I'm so glad, actually. But But yeah, so this is pretty much what I have for you guys. Just a little rant. Namaste. I love you guys, and I will catch you later.